Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for being part of the Chelsea chapter. Make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you as long as it is sports and as long as it is Chelsea related. Right about here at the Chelsea chapter with me, your host Abu Kals, as we definitely am giving you done deals of the day. It's I don't know how I can call it. It's done deals and imminent and done deals for the day today. So you can let us know generally which part of the world you're watching from, as we definitely dedicated to bring to the latest. As we've got quite a big number of football players to talk about, we've got a very big number. The list is definitely quite high. So let's begin. Let's begin and. Whom should we begin with? Let me see. Let me check the list. Let's start with we've got Moises Caicedo. We've got quite a big number. Kai Havertz. He was already left the club. We've got big number right here, as you already saw in the thumbnail. Quite a big number of football players right there to talk about. Anyway, let's start with should we start with Kendrick Pez? Still thinking whom we can definitely start with, who could definitely make our day. Whom should we definitely start with? Because lots of information to give out right about here. Because we're looking at quite a big number of football players are leaving the club, and also a lot of football players are also linked to the interest of the club. With already some football players who have already signed and are just waiting for official announcement. So you can definitely tell that the club Chelsea is in for a very busy season. It's going to be a very busy and extremely busy season for the club Chelsea. So you can definitely let us know what you definitely think about the transfers this time, and whether you think that it's going to be a very good transfer window for the club Chelsea, or whether you think it's going to be a rubbish one. But right about now, Mauricio Pochettino has already gone forward and said he is definitely not willing to work with some football players at the club Chelsea, and he's said that these football players should definitely leave the club. And that has been a bit challenging. It's been a little bit challenging for some clubs. Yeah. With some clubs definitely are not taking in, and also football players at the club Chelsea are not taking it in. They're definitely finding it complicated because the football manager Mauricio Pochettino has said it in capital letters that he's not willing to work with a big squad. He wants just a tiny squad. He wants quality, not quantity. And we have seen some football players already leaving the club Chelsea, and we are going to see more football players leaving the club Chelsea. You can get into the comment section and let us know what you definitely think about football players leaving the club Chelsea, and also some definitely coming to the club Chelsea. Let us know, make your feelings known right about here, as we already have seen the likes of one of the best world's midfielders leaving the club, and also seeing Kai Havertz, who's reportedly also left the club. We also have seen a few football players who have already signed for the club, and yet many more are also going to be signing for the club. So you can definitely let us know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you right about here at the Chelsea chapter with me, your host Abu Kals. So let me see where we definitely can start from in trying to figure out exactly which football player I can bring to you right about now. So let's start with Moises Caicedo. We remember that Moises Caicedo is one of those football players that has been admired by Mauricio Pochettino. And when Mauricio Pochettino came to Chelsea, we will remember that he said he only wants a few football players and he wants quality, and also has been one of the reasons as to why many football players are heading for an exit. With quite a lot that has been talked about with the club Chelsea, with quite a lot of people saying the club Chelsea could be, the ownership of Chelsea could be linked to Saudi Arabia. I think those are relegations. Premier League came out and said that's not true. After an investigation, Premier League came out and said that is definitely not true. And that was quite good because Premier League definitely came out and answered everybody. So who is going to say it's not true? Premier League made an investigation, a concrete investigation, big investigation, and all this was definitely rubbish. And it was just out of jealousy, as many people anticipated, and as also many people said. So definitely, Chelsea's in a good position, and Chelsea's playing quite well these transfers. You know, with FFP rules, first of all, with FFP rules, you have to sell and buy. So there is nothing that is stopping Chelsea from getting football players. Already, they are selling to Saudi Arabia. There's been a lot of talk about Saudi money. There is Saudi money, but also remember, I don't know why people are talking about Chelsea about this Saudi money. It's not only the club Chelsea that is in this Saudi money. No, that's not true. There are quite a big amount of clubs, a lot of clubs that are into this Saudi money, and almost every football player that matters, if you definitely want, you can go to Saudi Arabia. And the fact that Chelsea spent over £600 million the last season, last 2 seasons, definitely they're trying to make sure FFP rules go on quite well with them. They will need to sell football players to a certain club. And Saudi Arabia is there saying, I need football players. What should Chelsea do? He was just jealous. Everything that was said was jealous. The Premier League has rubbished everything and has told Chelsea, you can definitely go on with these transfers. It's quite good, and definitely things are going on quite well for the club Chelsea, as Chelsea is trying to make sure they can sell these football players that have not been performing and buy yet other football players. And some of the football players that are in focus, there's been Declan Rice, but Declan Rice's transfer. I think let me start with Declan Rice and his transfer to the club Chelsea. We remember that there was a big possibility, I must say, before there was a big possibility for Chelsea signing Declan Rice, with Chelsea saying they definitely needed Declan Rice. Chelsea tried and also tried to put a bid in, but things didn't go as planned. Things didn't go on quite well. The bid was definitely rejected, and since then, Mauricio Pochettino has been observing the situation, trying to make sure that things definitely go on quite well for the club Chelsea, and things have not been as going on quite well when it comes to transfers, mainly this transfer of Declan Rice. And after realizing that it involved quite a lot of money, £105 million, that's where the transfer is right about now. If you want Declan Rice, you've got to pay something like £104 million, 105 plus million pound. And the fact that Chelsea is not willing to pay such an amount of money, that's why they've definitely said no way Chelsea's going for the football player. There is no reason as to why the club Chelsea should go for this football player. Why? I don't see any reason as to why. There is no reason whatsoever that you can tell me that Chelsea should go for this football player. Why? £105 million. Chelsea is struggling with FFP rules. Already there is everything going on with everything that is going on about investigations and stuff, and you get £106 million and spend it on Declan Rice. No, the right place to go is definitely sell off a few football players and buy more. But Declan Rice is definitely out. And this was anticipated by Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino doesn't want to be at bad terms with FFP rules. He definitely said, I can get more football players. I can get Kendrick Pace. I can probably even get the former football player of Chelsea who has always liked, definitely Eden Hazard. I can get Eden Hazard back. I can get quite a big number. I can get Moises Caicedo. I mean, Moises Caicedo is around £75 million. It's being valued at something like £80 million, but it's negotiable. Then the club Chelsea could end up going for something like, could end up paying something like roughly £60 million, and that should be okay. £60 million should be okay for the football player. So I think it's going to be massive. I think it's going to be quite good for the club Chelsea. Anyway, talking about the football player I was talking about Moises Caicedo. You will remember that Moises Caicedo is one of those football players that has been haunted for quite a big number of clubs. There are loads and loads of clubs that want the football player. You will remember that Moises Caicedo is an Ecuadorian professional football player and also plays as a defensive midfielder for Brighton and Hove. He's always wanted to move away from Brighton and Hove, but Brighton and Hove, for some reason, they've always tried to make sure they can get him. He can stay at the club, Brighton and Hove. But he is not into a stay at the club Brighton and Hove. He's into a move away from the club Brighton and Hove. He's looking at playing Champions League football, and probably, I know he cannot get Champions League football with Chelsea this season, but there is a big possibility that he's going to get loads and loads of Champions League football in the near future, because what Chelsea is doing, Chelsea is building a project. Somebody asked me, why is Chelsea buying all these football players? What is happening, Abu? And I can confirm to you that it is going to be a massive project. It is a very good project. I anticipate in 2 years, Chelsea will be on top of the league for quite a long period of time. Why? Because almost every good football player who is of the next generation is at the club Chelsea. All those young football players who will be the best football players in 2-3 years, all of them have been camped at the club Chelsea. And after that, after a small period of time, you'll see Todd Bowley with smiles, and all Chelsea supporters will definitely be in big smiles. I know this for a fact. If all these football players are not sold, then Chelsea is going to be a very good football club in the near future. And I think getting Moises Caicedo and bringing him to Chelsea, definitely that will be a great thing. He can be part of the project. He's going to be part of the project. I don't see any reason as to why he could stop. I don't see anything that is going to stop him from being part of the Chelsea project. Todd Bowley is building a big project for the club Chelsea, and there is a very big possibility that this project is going to prosper. This project is going to be something definitely that is going to be quite big, next generation, and that is something that everybody's looking at and saying, yeah, it's going to be something very good. Anyway, we're talking about imminent and done deals, who signed for the club, who's not yet signed for the club, who is almost signing for the club, and still on the focus of Moises Caicedo. We remember that Moises Caicedo has already had his personal terms with the club Chelsea agreed, and that's good news. That's a very big step. The fact that he's agreed personal terms, he's already agreed a move to the club, but there are some clubs that are trying to get this football player. You will remember that Manchester United is one of those clubs that are interested in this football player, but he is not so much into a move to Manchester United. And right about now, I can confirm to you that the leading club in this transfer is the club Chelsea. With quite a bit of a struggle between two opponents, I think Chelsea is definitely going to be the favourites in this transfer. Let's get into yet another football player. Let's talk about Andre Onana. Still, Manchester United is struggling, is trying to put in a bit of a fight with Chelsea. But we all know when it comes to money, Chelsea is another thing. Chelsea always puts in the money. And the current co-owner of Chelsea, Todd Bowley, is willing to spend the money as long as FFP rules agree. He's definitely having no problems with that whatsoever. So Andre Onana, it could be a bit of a fight in there for Manchester United, between Manchester United and Chelsea, but things are going on quite well. Still, Manchester United is not in a better position than Chelsea. Chelsea are trying to make sure things are definitely go on quite well for them. And also, we need to look at yet another football player, Victor Osimhen. Yeah. Victor Osimhen, danger man. Let's talk about Victor Osimhen. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being part of the Chelsea chapter. And we are talking about Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is a Nigerian professional football player who plays for Napoli. He's been playing for Napoli for quite a long period of time. And right about now, he's told Napoli, I'm not remaining at the club Napoli. I need to leave. I can't play for Napoli forever. I'm a top goal-scoring football player. He scored over 30 goals, 31 goals, He scored 31 goals across all competitions for the club Napoli. In 31 goals in a season, that's a big amount of goals. And when he gets to the club when he gets to the club, Chelsea definitely has got quite a big possibility of even excelling, much more excelling, playing even much more, getting much better, and definitely we could be seeing him doing even much more better. Let us know what you definitely think about the football player and him moving to the club Chelsea, as Chelsea are in deep talks with the football player so that he can make a magical move to the club Chelsea. Right about now, there is nothing that has been concluded about this transfer, but as it stands, everything is going on as planned, and I can confirm to you that things are working out quite well for the club Chelsea. As somebody, Francis is saying hello. Hello, Francis. Thank you for being part of this. Anyway, let's get the party rolling. Let's get the party rolling. And as I've told you, and as I've been telling you, the football player is more than interested in a move to the club Chelsea. And there are quite a big number of clubs that are interested in him. But he said no to Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain wanted him, but the fact that he was not into a move to Paris Saint-Germain, he said he only needs to get a move in, to the Premier League. And European clubs should definitely stay out of his transfer. And right about now, the clubs that have definitely been into a fight for the football player are Chelsea again in Manchester United. What's happening with Manchester United and Chelsea all the time, all the time? Bidding was in there. I don't know what is definitely happening. I don't know what's definitely happening. Anyway, let's wait and see how all this will definitely transpire. Let's see how all this will definitely go. But as right about now, as it stands, things are going on right quite well for the club Chelsea when it comes to transfers, as he's already agreed a move to the club Chelsea, Victor Osimhen, and that is definitely great news. That is quite great news, and there is a big possibility that he's going to end up at the club Chelsea. Why? Because Chelsea is looking for that top striker. I mean, Mauricio Pochettino has said he needs a defensive midfielder, he needs a goalkeeper, and he needs a striker. Four sections that need reinforcement. He's selling away almost all those football players that have been in those positions, and he wants new football players because they've not performed. And for some reason, I can understand. If he's saying they should go, it's understandable. They've not performed. I mean, Chelsea ended up in the 12th position. 12th position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And he's saying they should go. What are they doing? Let them go. I understand why he's doing that. I really understand. I can completely understand why he's saying that he needs reinforcement, because these football players are not playing well. There is no way that you can convince me that a football player can play this well when he ends up in the 12th position. Chelsea isn't a club that should be heading to relegation. I don't know whether you know what I mean. Chelsea isn't a club that is going to be in a number 6 and they are comfortable with it. No. Chelsea is a football club that is going to be angry when they are in number 2. When they're in number 3, it's very bad. It's very bad and absolutely bad being number 3. It's Chelsea. Come on. It's Chelsea. So if you're at Chelsea and you're not performing, definitely you need to go. That's the way out. That's definitely the way out. You need to go. If you're not performing, you're being paid stupid wages, loads and loads of money, and you are not freaking performing. You need to exit the club. That's it. Because you're on loads and loads of money. So it definitely makes no sense keeping these football players. And for this time, I think Mauricio Pochettino is spot on. Because when he looked into the project that was being built, he completely couldn't understand. And he said it could be chasing a dream you might never achieve. And I can completely understand where he comes from. I know where he comes from. I understand where he comes from. Because the club, when you look at the club Chelsea, how they have been playing overtime. I mean, we're talking about a club that has been winning trophies overtime. And when the club definitely changes, some managers definitely go and things do not fall in place. What do you been put on table? Nothing. There's nothing at all that has been put on table. There's nothing that Chelsea should be jubilating about. Nothing. That's why Mauricio Pochettino is not going to be any easy with any football player that is currently at the club. They all failed. All Chelsea football players failed. And that's why I'm saying they failed, and that's why we are looking at something new. Mauricio Pochettino is looking at building something new, fresh, and he's even been looking at building from scrap, from crop. Sorry, I can see Francis saying up blues. Blue is the best color the Chelsea's game. Anyway, thank you. You can go get into the comment section, and we can always have a chat. We can always have a chat right about here. And a lot is definitely going on right about here. A lot is going on, but there's something that is not right with the club. Chelsea, I must say, there's something that's not going on quite well, because you can't tell me for a club that is well known like Chelsea that you end up in the 14th position, 12th position. What's happening? What's that? That's definitely uncalled for. All those football players definitely need to go. All of them. There's no football player that should remain at Chelsea. If he's a good football player, as some people came out and said, oh, some of them are good football players, but what? It's not the manager. I think sacking Graham Potter wasn't the best solution. It's sacking. I know Mauricio Pochettino is a good manager. I must say he's a very good manager, but there's a possibility that he could face the same problems. Something has definitely to be addressed, and also I've never seen something that happened last time. I mean, Todd Bowley should definitely also look into things differently. There's no way a club manager should go into a club dressing room at halftime and tell our football players, you're not going to have players, the next season of them are going to exit the club. That's not how a club is run. That's out. That's definitely not how a club is run. You do not go into dressing rooms of football players and tell them what to do. You're not a fucking manager. You're not a manager. You're a club owner. You're not an F manager. You're a club owner. I know he's got, Todd Bowley's got a little bit information about football and he owns a club. Yeah, but that definitely does not mean that he has to go into dressing rooms of football players and then he can tell them what to do. That's out, and that's totally out. Absolutely out. I don't know. It's something that definitely was out of bounds and shouldn't have been done whatsoever. There is no reason as to why Todd Bowley should have gone in dressing rooms at halftime and told the football players, you're playing rubbishly. No way. That's not your thing. And we've seen things happen to management, and also things happen to coaches, football managers. When the football players are not comfortable, they'll make you hate the club. They'll do anything possible. So what he did was definitely not the best of things. But right about now, what we know, we're heading into a new transfer window. We're actually already in a new transfer window. And Chelsea's looking at reinforcement. But some of these football players that are definitely coming in, they're quite good football players. And we've got Chelsea has got quite a good Chelsea has got a good manager, I must say. Chelsea has got a very good manager. Mauricio Pochettino is a very good manager, and I hope he can definitely bring his expertise, because he's well known for working with young talent and bringing up quite good talent. Anyway, if you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe and ring that notification bell, as I will definitely be coming live almost every other time right about now that we are in the transfers. I think it will be quite good to come live and tell you what is definitely happening here and there. So I think it's not going to be any easy right about now. It's not going to be any easy. Let me see. Somebody's asking, let me see, Wahab Martin is asking, how many players have we signed so far in their names and from which clubs? Blue is our color. Anyway, thank you. Already, we've got quite a number of football players. There are quite a big number of football players that have been linked to the club. Chelsea, there's quite a big number of football players that are most likely going to be signing for the club Chelsea. But Some have already been announced, and some of them have signed but are just waiting for announcement. And we possibly definitely think that things are going to go on as planned. But as it stands right about now, you already know that some football players have already signed for the club Chelsea. And one of the football players that has already signed for the club Chelsea and is a done deal, sealed and confirmed, is Christopher Nkunku. Christopher Nkunku is one of those football players that has already signed. He comes from RB Leipzig, and already with Christopher Nkunku, by the way, Christopher Nkunku is not just coming this season. Christopher Nkunku signed in the January transfer window, but for some reason there were hindrances as to why he could not come to the club Chelsea. And then right about now, when the season began, we just saw him coming in. It was just something from the last season. For some reason, with rules in football, he could not come to the club Chelsea. But right about now, I can confirm to you that he's already at the club Chelsea and is just waiting to start playing. And in pre-season training, is definitely going to be there. He's already had everything done. For him, it's a deal that is done, sealed, and completed. He's only waiting to play. He's been announced. Everything about him has been said. There's nothing more to talk about Christopher Nkunku, as he's a deal that is done, sealed, and confirmed. And he's a very brilliant one, I must say. He's a very good football player, and the club, sorry, the club. I'm getting a few notifications over here, and he's a very good one, and the club. Chelsea is definitely looking forward to working with him. Mauricio Pochettino is one of those football players that also, not football players, sorry, football managers that really have been admiring the football player. But he was not signed by Mauricio Pochettino. He was definitely one of those football players that have been loved by the club Chelsea, not even Todd Bowley, because what I'm saying, he's not for Mauricio Pochettino, and neither is he for Todd, but he's for the club Chelsea, because he's one of those football players that the management at Chelsea has always tried to get from years. It's been around 2-3 years. Chelsea's chasing this football player, and now that he's there, he definitely, I think, will perform because he's everybody likes him there. Yet another football player that has been linked to that has signed reportedly. I'm telling you now, this is reportedly. He has reportedly signed with the club Chelsea. That's Nicolas. Who's that? He's called Nicolas. What's his name? Oh, Nicolas Jackson. Yeah. Nicolas Jackson has already had his medical done. He had his medical done. But remember, Nicolas Jackson, before all this, he said his rules. He set his rules and said, I'm not going to make any move to London if I'm not 100% sure about signing for the club Chelsea. If Chelsea come out and they say they are willing to pay an amount of money to Villarreal that is definitely quite good for me to make a move, that's when I'll move. I'm not going anywhere to just try. I want to go and sign. And the fact that he's already had his medical has been done. It's a deal that has been completed. His medical is definitely done. And the fact that he's had his medical, that definitely shows you that he is into a move to the club Chelsea. It's definitely, it is reportedly, he's agreed the move. A fee has been agreed, and reportedly that fee has already been paid. And it is reported that he is just waiting for an official announcement. And once all this is definitely done, we can consider it a deal that is done, sealed, and confirmed. But as it stands right about now, there is nothing that should stop the club from getting him. Not even getting him. He's already in London, hiding somewhere, possibly in the chambers of the club. But he's not yet announced officially, but he is a Chelsea football player. I got some notifications before. I didn't follow it up, but I think definitely he is in London. He's in London. He's definitely in London because he had his medical in London and is looking at playing for the club once the season definitely starts. So I think we can count on it and say, thank you, Francis, by the way. I'm so grateful, Francis. Thank you for being part of this podcast. People who are always part of this podcast, please, I say thank you and thank you so much. It's always quite good to have people who love you, where you can say hello, get into the comment section. And thank you, Nicholas, for saying My name is Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, thank you, everybody who's in the comment section. I can see someone saying hello, Bumni saying hello. Thank you for being part. I like everybody who is here. Thank you for always tuning in. I really like you. Thank you so much, everybody in the comment section. Somebody's asking about how many players I've definitely given that. Thank you. You're all good people. Thank you for being part of this podcast. And I was still talking about football players that definitely could end up at the club. Definitely could be. We're talking about imminent signings. When you talk about imminent signings, we mean football players that are most likely going to sign for the club but have not yet signed. And when we talked about done deals, we're talking about football players that have definitely signed. And there was something about let me see. There was something about Romeo Lavia. So with Romeo Lavia, we'll remember that Romeo Lavia is one of those football players that the club definitely also likes. He's still a very young football player, 19 years of age. He's been playing for Southampton for quite a long period of time, 19 years of age, and the club Chelsea definitely thinks that he can do something positive at the club Chelsea. So the fact that Southampton is heading to relegation, is not heading to, but it's already in relegation, isn't it? That definitely shows you that things are not going on quite well for them. And you can't have a youngster like Romeo Lavia, who is well admired by all Premier League clubs, going into relegation. If Chelsea can't have him, then other football players, other football clubs can definitely have him. That's why the club Chelsea is saying we definitely are going to sign this youngster. Thank you for being part of this podcast, and make your point, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it. And whatever we've got to bring to, as long as it's sport and as long as it is Chelsea related. Thank you again for being in this podcast. I'll be live one more time. Anyway, thank you and goodbye for now.